I'm Renata Quintini. I'm a partner at Lezcano.
What has been some of maybe your most fun or exciting company ideas that you have invested in or you've seen been funded?
You're asking me to pick amongst my children?
Not just one, or maybe like a general, area that you get really excited about.
So when I look at a few companies that I had the pleasure to work with, so on the fun side, I think the funnest person that I've ever worked with is Michael Dubin, the founder of Dollar Shave Club. And if you saw the video of what the brand stands for and the products that they came up,
yeah.
And it's all him and it's really authentic. He understands that guy and he is funny that way.
Yeah.
So that was one type of fun. I think the other company that is fun in a intellectual, groundbreaking or chattering way is a company called Planet that is building microsatellites that are basically the size of a shoebox that get launched into space, and they orbit the Earth and capture images about what's happening to our planet. And today they've launched 200. They are the largest constellation of satellites in the world, and it is a private company, and the satellites are
that's cool,
way big, and it's really cool. So to just think about what they had to do in terms of design, what will live in space and be safe and capture the images, and it's aerodynamics, it's all of those things that need to come together. It's really incredible. So that was really fun from that perspective. We invest in a bunch of deep science and deep technology companies as well, so autonomous cars.
Cool.
We have a really cool company out in the food space that is going to pioneer brain nutrition, and which is going to be really, really interesting. So I have a lot of fun in my job every day. It's a real pleasure.
That's great.
And I'm glad that you asked me for a positive,
totally,
fun thing. Yes.
I also heard you say in the keynote, you gave advice for women who are asking for money to be confident and be themselves. So I want to know from you personally, do you have somebody who set that example for you?
So my biggest inspiration has been my mom. I know it sounds, but really has been. She was the first person in her family to actually go to college, have an education. She incredible, the things that she has done, and if she hadn't been confident in herself, that wouldn't have happened. And she put very early on in me that there's nothing that I can't do if I want to do it. So that's always stuck with me, but that's not to say that I don't work on that regularly. I have mentors, I have a coach, and that's right. How can you always keep upping your game and being your true authentic self and kind of owning up to it? It's a work in progress, but I have the foundation, and it came from my mom.
That's amazing. Yeah. And real quickly, I heard you mention earlier about something that you were working towards to increase diversity in technology space. Could you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's an organization called allraise.org. And today is all volunteer, and it's people from the industry changing the industry from the inside. And we have several programs that are really interesting around how can we get more female and diverse founders funded and successful. So we have one program called femalefounderofficehours.org that anyone in the tech world can go and apply. We have one-on-one mentorship sessions, either from VCs or from founders in stages above you. We've had over 1,500 people apply, over 500 one-on-ones, and we're scaling this. It's national, it's fantastic. We have another program called Founders for Change. And this is basically a value statement that founders that really want to have a diverse company, they will support the statement, and they'll say that the diversity of my company, the diversity of the investors backing my company matters to me. So we have over 1,000 people in 1,000 companies that have made that statement of value, and they've taken the picture with the statement. So you have Dropbox, you have Eventbrite, House, and we have companies that are just starting up, and this is going to become a way of life for them. So how can we support all that? And a lot more to come. But this is what we do after the kids go to bed, and a lot of us are really motivated and excited to drive change.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what people that are in my audience, regular everyday people, can do to support more diversity in entertainment world?
Well, first of all, when people who are representing you do work, support that work. Be out there the first weekend if they're in movies. If Rosario Dawson or Zoe Saldana or Gina Rodriguez or Gina Torres, or they appear in something, support their work and amplify their work. If you're on social media, hashtag it, talk about it. If you are really moved, write a letter to the company. I love the way that the Asian American community rallied around Crazy Rich Asians. That's why there's going to be a Crazy Rich Asians too, because the need is so great. So when you see the need, and when you express it, they need to know you're out there. First of all, the Latinx audience is a hugely important audience in this country, and no matter what is being said in the political arena, there is no future in the United States without the Latinx community. There just isn't. And so you have to own that power and start to exercise it. And when you see people who look like you doing things that support your culture, support them. I mean, I have heard America Ferrera speak about this so passionately. About she is doing this for that little girl out there who she didn't have. When she says that all the time. She said, when I was a little girl, there wasn't a girl like me. And with the exception of obvious people like Rita Moreno, but she intends to be that girl, and she'll be that if you support her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jen Welter, first female to coach in the NFL and author of Play Big.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen, for being here today and talking with us. So you're the first female coach in the NFL. That's super exciting. Can you tell me a little bit, was this a dream of yours for how long?
Well, one of the things about being a first is it's not possible to dream it, right? Like, so much of what we grow up into or believe we're capable of is what we see. And if you would have asked me at any point in my career if I saw myself coaching in the NFL, I would have said no. And in fact, the first coaching job I was offered in arena football, my response was no, I can't do that. Girls don't do that. And what was powerful in that situation is that Wendell Davis, former Dallas Cowboy, who offered me that job, literally wouldn't let me not step up into that. He said, not a lot of guys are going to give you this opportunity. You're taking this job. I said no. I turned him down. And the next day he called me back and told me about myself. He said, do you remember how I told you not a lot of guys were going to give you this opportunity and we're taking this job? I said, yeah. He said, good. I took it for you. You're coaching for me. And by the way, you can't quit. Otherwise, the entire narrative surrounding women coaching in men's professional football will be, we had a girl once and she quit. And whereas I may not have stepped up to the challenge for myself, believing in myself, what I wouldn't do was quit on every one of the women who I had played with for so long and in the trenches that we were in, sacrificing and grinding for. And I lovingly say that Wendell drop kicked me into success. And that's a message for so many women. We will often self-select out of opportunities because of things like imposter syndrome or not being willing to step up into a challenge, which is not something that guys typically do. And so if I say it's the importance of male allies, right? If you are that male and you have the opportunity to elevate those women, do it. Help them see maybe something in themselves that they hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. And if you are those women surrounding them, make sure that you're building that up, because we will often do that. And to truly grow to the next level, it has to be those things. And then as you're a first, I always say the responsibility of the first is to ensure that you're not the last, right? Because it gives people permission to dream bigger. People would say, you're coaching the NFL, you're living the dream, and I would say no, because this is not a dream I was permitted to have. There was nobody I could look at and say, I want to be her when I grow up. But now the beauty of this is that other girls
can grow up dreaming bigger than I ever did. And in fact, now we have other women doing it as well. Because once it's been done, it can't be undone. Mm-hmm. And it's tough to be that first person and that, you know, that person who's in power who makes that decision. But after they set the tone that it can work, then it gives permission to follow suit. And so no, it wasn't a dream I had, but now I love that it's a viable dream and even a career trajectory for other people.
Michelle Milford. I'm the Vice President for Girls and Women's Strategy at the United Nations Foundation.
Thanks, Michelle, for talking to me today.
Thank you.
So I just want to ask you, as the Vice President of the Girls and Women of the United Nations, what is your sense of how we are treating and raising our girls in the United States today?
Well, there's good news. It's a good news story.
Great.
We're doing a better job. We're doing a better job of making sure that girls everywhere can fulfill their potential with unencumbered dignity and freedom, and that's good. This is better for them. It's better for societies. It's better for schools. It's better for our economy. So we've come a long way. However, there's still more to do. All around the world, girls and women are still limited by discriminatory laws. 1 in 3 girls and women is subject to violence. There are still a range of social, environmental, and economic factors that keep women from that make sure that because of them, women are less literate, they're less likely to be in school, they're sometimes less healthy, and they're less likely to pursue their dreams. So overall, we're doing a better job now and making strides towards gender equality, but there's always a lot of work to do.
And so what are some steps that parents can take to raise these girls so we can keep moving forward?
Well, there's a lot of things parents can do, and one of the things they need to do first is think about their language and actively bust myths in their own household about the differences between boys and girls. In my session here today at the Texas Women's Conference, we talked about overcoming bias, and we talked about myths that hold girls and women back. For instance, we tend to have ideas about leaders. Well, women are already ready to become leaders. They don't need to be fixed. They're not too emotional to lead. They are just as capable at STEM careers as men. And so parents can amplify those ideas. They can encourage their girls to pursue STEM paths. Another thing is about kind of our expectations about social roles inside the house for girls and women. There are these myths that girls and women, maybe they need to stay at home. Maybe they need to take care of siblings. Maybe a lot of parents still have their girls do more household chores. Well, there's nothing inherently masculine or feminine about cooking, cleaning, and taking care of children. And in fact, in households where men and women, mothers and fathers share the burden, the children do better. So parents can model that behavior. They can make sure they're not treating their girls unfairly by giving them more chores. They can make sure they're not saying things that emphasize that girls should not pursue careers. Like, the truth is that women earn an income. They are more likely than men to spend that on the health, education, and welfare of their children. So they are taking care of their children, but it doesn't even matter. Girls and women should have every opportunity to seek and fulfill economic empowerment, just as men do. So parents can model language and behavior, and they can also actively bust some of those myths that have that kind of accompany gender inequality sometimes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your tips today, Michelle.
Sure, you bet. No problem.